Good evening, everyone. I'm Akil, your host for the next 10-day journey into Power BI and data analytics with AI program. So, in today's data driven world, Power BI stands out as one of the most powerful tools for transforming data into meaningful insights. Right? So, the next 10 days, we will explore how to harness its full potential for business intelligence and real time decision making skills. Let's begin this exciting learning journey together, guys. So, before we understand what exactly is Power BI, right? So we have to understand a particular concept called business intelligence. Okay. So what exactly are we going to do? What exactly are we going to learn as part of the next 10 days is we will be focusing on the concepts of Power BI. Right. So first of all, we should understand what is business intelligence. Because only if you understand what is business intelligence, you'll understand why are we learning Power BI. Am I right? So without learning business intelligence, there is no use of understanding Power BI. So we'll get understanding to the word business intelligence. Next to that, we'll get introduced to the tool Power BI. Okay. So what is the purpose of the tool? And we also have many business intelligence tools. We'll be understanding all these self-service business intelligence tools, right? Post understanding all the different business intelligence tools, we'll be understanding the key features of Power BI. Okay, if you take any tool, it has features. Okay, so in the same way, we'll be understanding the key features of Power BI and then followed by the architecture of Power BI. Okay, from the start till the end. Okay, so we'll be understanding the architecture as well as the ecosystems. Power BI, Microsoft is providing us the tool Power BI, and there are different Power BI products. Okay, so we'll be understanding the complete ecosystem, and across these 10 days, we will be focusing on these Power BI components, guys. Okay, so whatever the components that we are going to understand in today's session, we'll be focusing on these components across all these 10 days, because Power BI is actually, mainly of all these components. There are in total 6 components. We'll be understanding each and every component and the purpose of the component, right? And we also have the building blocks for Power BI. Let us understand, let us get introduced to the building blocks of Power BI as well. Okay, so for today we'll just get introduced to the tool called Power BI and the purpose of it, the key features, followed by the architecture, so on. Okay, so this particular sessions, whatever we have discussed, will be for 10 days, and across these 10 days we are not just going to only focus on theory, we are mainly focusing on hands-on. Okay, so all these sessions will be hands-on related, guys. Okay, initially you'll understand the theoretical part, but probably more of today, from tomorrow, you'll be working it hands-on, taking the data sets and whatever the component that we learn on each and every day, you have to work, you have to practice on daily basis. Only then you'll be habituated to the tool Power BI. Right? So big theory will just give you a kind of knowledge, but in order to get the real-time practice, you should start hands-on. Okay, so these specific sessions are designed with respect to the hands-on. I hope it is clear. For today, we'll get introduced to the tool Power BI. Alright, let's get started with the first topic. It is business intelligence. So, if I ask you the question like, what do you mean by intelligence? What do you mean by intelligence, guys? And moreover, I want you guys to respond. Okay, I want everyone to interact with me in the chat. Don't sit idle. Okay, the questions that I come up with, I want answers. I'm expecting answers from your side. So what do you mean by intelligence? Especially human intelligence. All of us are humans? Yes. Okay, humans, they do have intelligence? Yes. So how do you define human intelligence? Is my question. Yes, answers please. No answers? Okay. So intelligence, can I keep it as knowledge? Right? See, when we start growing from our early stage, probably from 1 to 3 years, okay, we'll start observing the things behind us. So as we go in this way, we'll start learning something. Okay, so we are going to gain some knowledge, and accordingly, based on this knowledge that we have, we are going to act. So I'll keep the human intelligence in this way. In the same way, we also have AI. What is AI? Artificial intelligence. Yes, good. In order to solve problems, okay, the issues, whatever we have, tackle. Okay, in order to tackle all these things, we need some knowledge, right? So that knowledge can be defined as intelligence. Yes. In the same way, in the post-COVID, AI came into existence, which is nothing but artificial intelligence. Is it actual natural intelligence? No, it is artificial intelligence. The same intelligence if you are going to provide to a machine. Okay, if the machine is capable of thinking similar to humans, so it's nothing but AI, artificial intelligence, right? Yes. But I want you guys to respond for business intelligence. So any idea about business intelligence? What exactly is business intelligence? That's fine, even though if you're wrong, if you're able to respond to the question, that's great. We know what is the word called intelligence and we know what is business. Why don't you combine both of these? Business intelligence is nothing but, taking the right decisions, or let me keep it here. The right decisions, if I'm capable of taking at the right time, for the right place, okay, the right place, for the betterment of the organization. What do you mean by business? Business is nothing but you're running an organization. So that itself represents the word called business intelligence. Okay, so you are using your intelligence for the betterment of your business. So how do you actually, focus that you're actually, working on the getting the right decisions? Yes, we need a tool which helps us to start from the scratch till the end. Okay, so there has evolved the concept of BI tools, business intelligence tools. Precisely, business intelligence is nothing but the data that we have. What do you mean by the data? Every organization, some amount of data will be generated. Yes, a data will be generated. Using this data, if you are able to, from the given data, if you are able to capture the insights, capture the important insights, and based on these insights, if you are able to take some actions, it is nothing but no business intelligence. This end-to-end process is called business intelligence, and we have n number of tools for doing this entire process. Yes, for the betterment of the business, we need to take some right decisions. Only based on these right decisions, our revenue starts growing, our profits will increase. So earlier, if I go back to 19th century, okay, around 1960s, 1970s, I'll just take an example to explain the overview of business intelligence tools. What made us to have these business intelligence tools? Okay, let us understand, guys. Assume there is a company like called as, there is an organization named as ABC. Okay, so this ABC was started around in 1960s, 1970s, assume. Okay, and this ABC is operated from different locations across the world, across the globe. Okay, so probably what used to happen is, if you see multinational companies, are they getting operated from the same place? No. What is the word called multinational? That particular company is present at different countries. So in the same way, ABC is also operated from different countries. Okay. So I'll assume it as country 1, country 2, country 3, and country 4. Okay. I'm just taking an example, guys, to explain you what made us to, work using BI tools. How actually BI tools came into the market is what we are trying to understand. Okay, right. So there is a company called ABC which is operating from 4 different countries, 4 different locations. So probably in those days, the data that used to be generated is very less. Yes, the data that used to be generated is very less. But even though whatever the data that got generated, being a company, they are supposed to store the data. They are supposed to maintain the database. So probably in country 1, ABC is storing the data in some file formats. Okay, in some files, using some files, they are going to store the data. In country 2, they are able to store the data using some DBs, databases. Okay, then in country 3, that means in the third location, they're able to store the data in some cloud. Cloud-based databases are being used for storing the data. And in country 4, some other, format. So if you see here, across all these different locations, ABC, the company, the organization ABC is able to store the data in different formats. In location 1, they are able to store it in file format. In location 2, database format, cloud format. They are using some cloud technology for storing the data. And in location 4, some other format. So what do you observe here? I see that in all the different 4 locations, the data is belonging to the same company. The data is being, it is belonging to same ABC. But what about the format of the data? Is it same? No. No. Because I see files in one place, in other place it is databases, in some other place it is cloud, and in some other place, probably a database of different, a new database. So the formats are not seen. And if I want to perform analysis, assume if I want to calculate the overall profit of ABC, what I have to do? I'm supposed to sum up all the profit that I get at different locations. Am I right? I'm supposed to sum up the profit that I get at different locations of ABC. But how can I do it? Do I have the format of these data same? No. So in olden days, especially in 1970s, 1980s, the role of data analyst will be, that used to be a challenge, guys. You know why? See, in order to perform a small task, just I want to calculate the profit of EBC, I have to have the data, the entire whole data of the company in one single format. I should have it one single format. But how can I do it? Can I do it? No. The reason behind it is I'm not a programmer. Data analyst is a person who actually performs the analysis on the data. He or she will not be good at coding. So the data analyst or the business analyst, what they used to do is they used to depend on the back end people or front end people. That is, they used to rely on the IT department. For what? For converting all the data to one specific format. For converting all this data that I have at different formats to one specific format, I have to go and, rely on these people. Okay. Once after getting these, entire data into one format, assume that entire data was being, finally we got and we have it in table format. Assume I being a data analyst, I'll start doing analysis on this entire data. I'll do analysis, done, and probably I can calculate the profit of the organization now. Yes, I can. But the thing is here, post doing some calculations, post completing my analysis, if I want to visualize some plots, some graphs, okay, even that I can do, because being an analyst, the purpose of me is to perform the analysis. So I can also visualize, right? But these visualizations, again, if I want to showcase to my stakeholders of the company, again, I have to go and, rely on IT people. The reason behind it is, see, I'll have the visualizations, but where I should have these visualizations, inserted. Probably I should also take one website. Yes, if it is a very important visualization, which is talking about our shares or profits, revenues, I should again depend on the IT department folks to ask them to embed these important visualizations into our website. Am I right? Yes. So being a data analyst, we have a lot of challenges. Analysts have faced a lot of challenges before the evaluation of BI tools. So not to perform the transformations or not to have the visualizations at one single place, there are a lot of challenges that were being faced by the analysis team. Then in the early 2000s, for the first time, business intelligence tools came into the market, guys. And because of these business intelligence tools, we, being an analyst or a data analyst or business analyst, whomever it might be, we need not depend on IT department. We need not depend on the IT department. There is no use of depending on them. Why? Because the transformations, whatever the transformations that we can do, okay, can be done by using any BI tool. We can perform the transformations. We can visualize our data. We can grab the insights. So all these steps can be performed using one single tool, and it is nothing but business intelligence tools. So one of the widely used business intelligence tool is Power BI. So that means using Power BI, I can do everything. The transformations can be done. Yes. You can also model the data. You can also create data models. What are these data models? It's nothing but establishing a relation between two tables. See, if I have the data of my organization in two different tables, if I want to come up with some model, okay, or there are multiple tables, if I want to connect all of these, yes, I can do create data models using Power BI. Not only Power BI, any business intelligence tool, guys. Okay, then the main agenda, the main reason for the business intelligence tools is visualizations. You can visualize your data, and these visualizations can be shared across your clients, where we try to build reports, dashboards. So the reporting and dashboards can be built using the business intelligence tools. Yes, this can be done. Okay, so that is where there is a lot of demand for the business intelligence tools. And data analyst, the role of the data analyst had a lot of demand in the current market. And what are the skill set that you need is at least one BI tool will give you a job as a data analyst. You'll get hired as a data analyst if you are good at one specific BI tool. And my suggestion will be go with Power BI. Go with Power BI. The reason why am I talking about Power BI? Why am I supporting Power BI is, I'll explain. Because Power BI is very simple. When you compare all these BI tools, one of the easiest business intelligence tool is Power BI. Okay. So I want you guys to concentrate for the next coming 10 days. The reason behind it is if you are able to concentrate for the next 10 days, because all these sessions are designed especially for hands-on. Only probably for today you'll have a theoretical class, but from tomorrow it will be hands-on. Okay. So when you listen to the lecture and parallelly if you are able to work out on the hands-on part, by taking any data set, if you are able to perform the hands-on, you'll get habituated of using Power BI. And when you add Power BI to your resume, it adds lot of weight. Okay, even data scientists or AI engineers, in majority of the companies, they're asking you one BI tool, guys. At least one BI tool is what they're expecting, and that BI tool is nothing but Power BI. Why am I time again specifically talking about Power BI is Power BI, even though if it was late into the market, okay, but today it is standing top at the top position, number one position across all these business intelligence tools. I'll show you, I'll prove my words. Okay, I'm not telling anything wrong. I'll prove my words. Right? Yes. So this is all about business intelligence. Let us also quickly understand what are the different business intelligence tools that we have. So in the market, okay, before that, if someone asks you what are the stages of business intelligence, initially our aim is to collect the data. Okay, because we have data at different locations, different places. Yes, different formats. Yes. So even though if your data is at different formats, if it is present in different formats, You can still, you know, bring that to a single place. You can collect your data. Okay, you can establish the connections with Power BI, and the data can be collected. Once after collecting the data, we prepare the data. It's nothing but data preparations where we do a kind of transformations. We do transformations, guys. Okay, so what are these transformations? Which component of Power BI will be used? We'll discuss. Once after preparing the data, we have to store it. Yes, we also store the data in Power BI itself. Then, next to storing the data, we'll perform analysis. We also perform analysis on the data. Once after performing the analysis, okay, you can start visualizing the data. You'll visualize. So visualizations is nothing but you are coming up with some graphs, some pictures. By going through these visualizations, you'll get some insights. You'll get some insights. Probably if I take the same example, what is making ABC profit coming down at country 3? In country 3, what are the reasons for the less profit in country 3? You can understand the reasons. So those insights can be captured from the visualizations. Once after visualizing the data, you can get the insights by taking all these insights to the client. Client will be taking some decisions, guys. Client will be taking some decisions. Probably, our product is not getting good capture of in country 3. Okay. In location 3, probably whatever the products that we are selling, they're not getting the humans are probably the customers are not willing to purchase. Why don't we come up some with offers? So we'll come up some with strategies. We'll define some strategies. That is nothing but decision making. We'll make our decisions for the betterment of the business. Okay. So this is the life cycle of business intelligence. And all these stages can be performed using one single tool. It is nothing but Power BI. Okay, not only Power BI, you take any BI tool, you can perform all these stages. Right. So let me introduce you guys to the different self-service business intelligence tools that we have in the market. Okay, which are widely used. I just had only 10 tools over here, guys. That doesn't mean there are only 10 tools. There are multiple tools in the market. Okay, so let me talk about some of the self-service SSBI tools. Okay, so we have Tableau, okay, which is a product of Tableau itself. Then we have Power BI, which is a product of Microsoft. Okay, and if you compare Tableau and Power BI, you'll understand the differences because Tableau was launched before Power BI itself. I think Tableau was launched around the year 2004, but Power BI it got launched around after 2010. Okay, but still it is grabbing the attention of the market. Like it stands at the number one position. Then we also have Data Studio by Google. We have ClickSense, Google Looker Studio, then Domo, Zoho Analytics. All of these are different SSBI tools. Okay. If you ask me a suggestion, which tool should I go and use? My suggestion would be Power BI, guys. The reason behind it also, I'll show you. Okay. Before I continue, I just want you to show how the demand that we have. What is the demand that we have for Power BI in the market? Okay. So I'll take, I'm opening a browser. Okay. So how many of you actually are aware of Google Trends? How many of you follow Google Trends for comparison and all? Is there any of the person who generally open Google Trends? No one? Okay. So let me tell you about Google Trends. So Google provides us to understand how well we have the tools. Okay. So we can compare different tools that we have in the market using these Google Trends. I opened a browser and I just opened the Google Trend site, and here I can explore different products, different tools. So let me compare first of all Power BI. Let me take Power BI guys. See, you see here Microsoft Power BI. This is my first business intelligence tool that I'm taking. And once after clicking on explore, it will ask you, it will provide you some with, it is going to provide you with some filters. Okay. So the country, across which day. Okay. You can select the days as well. Then categories. You can select which category. If you are specifically talking about one specific domain, you can also go and select the domain, the category. Then the web search. Okay. So I'll just keep it as web search. But coming to the time, I'll go till 2004. 2004. Right. If you see here, this is the graph of Power BI guys. Okay. Let me not only keep India, I'll just keep it as worldwide. Okay. Let us compare how Power BI is having the attention across the globe. And we also know that Power BI has a competitor. It is nothing but Tableau. Tableau is one of the oldest BI tool. Let me compare with Tableau guys. See, Tableau software, data visualization company. Okay. So let me compare with Tableau software. Okay. So which one is red color? Tableau is representing the red one and Power BI is representing the blue color. The blue color line. If you compare across the globe from 2004, if you see here across the globe, what happened? For which line you see that increase? You see that steep line. Probably you are getting the point. See, Tableau is one of the software BI tool which has released earlier compared to Power BI. But still what happened later on as the days got passed, I see Power BI had a lot of demand in the market. Power BI had a lot of demand at this current position. It's July 2025. If you see, what is the interest over time? It's 86. But what about Tableau? It's just 25. Okay. So even though Tableau is one of the oldest BI tool, who is actually grabbing the attention of the market when it comes to business intelligence tools, it's Microsoft Power BI. So that is why I recommend majority of our students, majority of our folks to go with Power BI. Go and start learning Power BI. Okay. If you also want to compare only in India, because all of us, if you are looking out for the opportunities in India, let me go and have a look in India as well. What happened? Across the time, the demand for Power BI is increasing compared to Tableau. So this is one of the important point that you have to keep in mind, guys. This made us to do these sessions. Okay, why are we time again focusing on Power BI is Power BI, even though if you just learn only Power BI, okay, and uh, along with Power BI, if you are also having a skill like SQL, yes, you can be hired as a data analyst in real time. And you know, the packages that you get as a data analyst are skyrocketing. They are very huge. The reason behind it is nowadays there is a lot of demand for the data related roles. Data analyst, data scientist, data engineers. Why? A lot of data is generating. When a lot of data is generating, what is the purpose of an analyst? Analyst should analyze the data using a BI tool. So what is the BI tool that we are going with? It is Power BI. Okay, so wherever you go, finally you are going to reach the stop position, that is nothing but Power BI. I hope it is making sense. I'll give you more information as we go on. Okay, so I'll come back. So this is all about the SSBI tools. Let me start with the tool Power BI. So what exactly is Power BI? Okay, so Power BI is SSBI tool. Let me, yes. So Power BI is a self-service business intelligence tool. So that means whatever we have discussed so far with respect to business intelligence, you can perform all the things, the transformations of the data, data models can be done, data visualizations can be done. Okay, you can perform the reports, you can come up with your dashboards. All these dashboards can be shared to your client. Okay, so everything can be done using Power BI. And this Power BI comes up with both desktop based and web based applications. Not only desktop, we also have web based applications. For what? For sharing and collaborating our work. Okay, we can connect, we can perform the data models, and we can also visualize the data. So that is the main purpose of Power BI. And you know, Power BI is very easy. Is that really? Yes. I'm telling you, know, it's dead easy. The only thing that you have to focus is you have to memorize the ribbons and the options that are available in each ribbon. Okay. So there are few topics I'll tell you. Okay. So these topics, if you are going to focus for the next coming 10 days, for sure you will have a good knowledge in Power BI. Why it is very easy? I'm telling you from starting, I'm telling you that it's very easy, right? But what it is making easy is Microsoft. Yes, Microsoft. Power BI is a product of Microsoft, friends. So what if it is a product of Microsoft? The reason why it is easy, I'm telling you is there any person who haven't used any Microsoft product so far? Probably no, right? If you take from your schooling days, for sure you might have used a product of Microsoft like Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint presentation. So if I keep on discussing, there are multiple Microsoft tools. So probably I should say 1 in a million or 2 in a million. It's very less. The reason behind it is all of us are fond of Microsoft products. We have used Microsoft tools, right? So even the user interface of Power BI or whatever the ribbons that you are going to have, the options, they are similar to the products of Microsoft in Power BI as well. That is what I'm trying to say. Why it is very easy? Whatever, if you compare Word and Excel or Excel with PPT, okay, the ribbons, whatever the options that we have across these tools, majority of them will be same. Am I right? In the same way, Power BI also have the same options. Additionally, you'll find more options, guys. And it was officially launched in the year 2015. 2015. Okay, so I'll take you to the official site of Power BI later on. Once after we discussed the entire theoretical part, we'll discuss about the products that we have that Microsoft Power BI is providing us. Okay, not now, I'll take you later after a few time. Right. So why Power BI? If you have a question like why Power BI? Why should you learn Power BI? Okay. So here we have a few points that we need to be discussed. So for connecting different sources, assume that your data is provided at different sources, guys. Source 1, source 2, source 3, so on. So on. Okay. So if you observe, your data is present at different source. Yes. Like my data is present in a CSV file. Okay. And coming to source 2, my data is present in database. Coming to source 3, data is present in cloud. So you have the data which is present at different sources, but you are supposed to work on the entire data. Is it possible? Yes, you can connect to any source. I'll show you all the different connections. Okay. So wherever the data might be, you can still connect using Power BI. Whatever the source it might be, you can connect and then you can transform the data. The transformations can be done upon your requirement and you can load millions of records. Millions of records. Once after having this entire data, you can blend the data, which is nothing but data modeling, which is nothing but we try to build the data models. We'll try to build the data models. And he can also calculate the complex calculations using DAX. There is a language called DAX, data analysis expressions. So we'll be understanding what is DAX and all. And once after having the calculations done, you can also come up with the interactive reports and the dashboards. That is nothing but the visualizations. Okay. So in short, to develop a versatile skill set, yes, we need Power BI, guys. And who should learn it? Whoever a person interested in visualizing the data, if you are actually interested in visualizing the data or not to make some decisions, you go and learn Power BI first of all. Or if your aim is to be an analyst, data analyst or business analyst, okay, you have to learn any BI tool. My suggestion would be go for Power BI because there is lot of demand for Power BI. Okay, so whoever it might be, if they are actually going to work with data, and in the current world, okay, in today's world, there is a lot of data that is being generated, and not to perform analysis, not to get the insights, we need one BI tool. So for that reason, we go and learn Power BI. Right? Yes. Then next to why Power BI, let me talk about the key features of Power BI, guys. I'll talk about the key features of Power BI. So here are the 6 key features. The main feature is to come up with the interactive visualizations. We are going to come up with interactive visualizations. So whatever the visualizations that we are going to come up with will be we are going to do them using drag and drop functionality. Okay, we are not here to make the entire visualizations. We'll already have the visuals, we'll drag it and drop. So once after having the visualization, to the visualization we are also going to add our data. We'll be adding our data. Then we can connect to any of the source. We have discussed, right? We can connect to any data source. It might be Excel sheets, databases, cloud services, different APIs. Okay, so whatever might be the source, we can go and perform the connection. Then next to it, we can also perform transformation. From long time I was using the word called transformation. What does exactly transformation means? Guys, transformation is nothing but we are going to clean the data. But why should we clean the data? Just think, why should I clean the data? Because assume that if I'm going to get the data from different data sources, I'm going to get the data from multiple sources. If that is the case, the data might have duplicates. Yes. The data can have missing values. Yes. We may need to bring the data to a particular shape. So in short, you are preparing the data for analysis. You are going to prepare the data for analysis. So this is called as data transformation. This is called as data transformation. And this data transformation will be done using a component of Power BI. It is nothing but Power Query Editor. The first component. It is Power Query Editor. Okay. Then next to it, we also have, we are going to create dashboards and reports. Nothing but the visualizations. Okay. Once after having the important visualizations, we can come up with the interactive reports. Within the report, the visualizations that we are going to have they will be interactive. Right? Then we can also have insights. Okay. There are some AI-driven capabilities within Power BI, like Power BI Q&A, which help us to get some insights. And finally, we can also collaborate our work with our team members by sharing with them, which is done using a component of Power BI called Power BI Service. Okay, so we'll be discussing all of these, whatever I am talking about at this moment, what I am discussing at this moment, all the components I'll be explaining, guys. Don't get worried. You'll understand each and every single topic. Right? So these are the key important features. Next to the features, we have Power BI architecture. So the end-to-end architecture. This is the end-to-end architecture. What do you understand from this architecture? Can you drop your answers? What do you understand from this particular BI architecture, Power BI architecture? Come on guys, what do you understand? I can clearly see data which is present at different locations, different sources. See, initially I am performing the extraction. The data is being extracted post extracting the data, okay, I'll perform the transformations using Power Query Editor component. So once after having the data prepared, okay, once if you prepare the data, then you can store it in a data warehouse. This is done in real time. This is nothing but, how many of you are aware of database? What do you mean by database? I want everyone to respond. What is database? Come on guys, what do you mean by database? I'm asking about database. Hmm? Database is nothing but it's a place where we store the data, right? See, probably as part of SQL sessions, we have discussed, right? Database. What exactly is database? Database is a place where we store data. Okay. Then what is data warehouse? This is one of the important topic that we have to discuss before proceeding. The reason behind it is majority of you might have a question. What is database? What is data warehouse? Even I can store huge data in database also, right? A place where information is stored so that it can easily form. Okay. Then what is data warehouse? Okay. Let me keep it very clear. Database and data warehouse. Okay. These are the two different places. They are not same. They are not same. Database is a container or a place where we are going to store the data. But then what is data warehouse? Data warehouse is again a place or a container in which we store data only. But again, what is the difference between database and data warehouse then? If that is your question, when it comes to database, we especially store the data where we perform transactions, online transactions day to day. What is online transactions? You mean the transactions that you do on Google Pay, Phone Pay? No guys. I'm not talking about any UPI transactions. I'm talking about the transactions that are related to data. What do you mean by transactions that I'm talking about here? I mean to say that if you have a database, within a database, you'll have the data. Yes, I have the data. So assume that I have stored the data of a company. Employees details got stored. Okay. So probably, you know, I can remove, see, if an employee leaves a company, if an organization, from an organization, I'm supposed to remove the record for that employee. Yes. Or if a new employee got hired, I need to insert a new record for the new employee. Yes. So this is nothing but online transactions. You are performing transactions on day to day. That is nothing but such kind of data we store in database. Like banking, okay, finance, You take any sector, okay, wherever you are going to perform the online transactions. Online transactions represents you do the transactions on the data by removing or updating or inserting. Okay. So such kind of transactions can be done on day-to-day basis. Okay. Only that type of data will be stored in database. Then what about data warehouse? Data warehouse is a place where we store data for analytical purpose. What do you mean by analytical purpose? Which means we store the data where we don't do any kind of transactions. We use this data that we store only for visualizations, for analytics. That is called as data warehouse. It's a warehouse which contains the data which will be used for analytics. We use the data for performing analytics. So you should not represent this with database. It should be represented with data warehouse. This is the right terminology that should be used. When you say database, so within the database, whatever the data that you have, you'll perform the online transactions. So you cannot use a database terminology here, guys. Very, very important. A data warehouse is a place where we store the data on which we can just perform the analytics. Visualizations can be done. So once after transforming the data, we load the data into data warehouse for performing the analytics. So what does analytics means is once having the data in the warehouse, we'll again have it to the BI tool, Power BI, and we'll visualize the data. We'll make some reports, dashboards will be created, and these visualizations will be shared to the user, nothing but clients. By looking at these visualizations, what does client do? By looking at these visualizations, we'll tell that the important insights that we get. We'll talk about the insights that we get from these visualizations. So we'll take these insights to the client. Accordingly, client takes actions. The necessary actions will be taken by the client. So this is how the end-to-end architecture of Power BI looks like. So in a single frame, we are trying to understand the entire flow of Power BI, guys. Okay. So initially, you'll get the data from the client. Yes. The client can store the data in different formats, different sources. Yes. They'll be sharing all the details, the database details or the cloud technology that they are using. Okay. They'll be providing you the credentials. They'll give you the access. You are the one who have to connect to the particular cloud source, and accordingly you have to extract. Once after extracting, you have to perform the necessary transformations, and once completing your transformations, if you have an opportunity to store the data in data warehouse, you will perform this step as well, and then you will try to visualize the data. So whatever the key important visualizations that you do, because you may try to visualize some, say, 100 visualizations. Not all 100 visualizations you will showcase to your client. There is no use. Out of these 100, you will select the top 5 or 10 visualizations which will give you the best insights. Okay, so those visualizations you'll be sharing to your client. Upon sharing, you'll also discuss about the insights that you have got from these visualizations, and client is going to take the actions. Okay, so this is the end-to-end architecture, the architecture of Power BI. So let me not drag it. I'll go to the next topic. It is Power BI ecosystem in which I'll be discussing all the different products of Power BI. Okay. So as part of these sessions, I want everyone to install Power BI desktop. Okay. So it is a desktop application, especially folks, if you are using Windows systems, if your operating system is Windows, it will be very easy. The installation is dead easy. But what if you are using any other operating systems like Mac, or if I go to the other operating systems like Linux, you have to go and install Parallels Desktop. That is bit challenging. Okay. So I would recommend to come up with a Windows machine. Okay. So Power BI Desktop is what we are going to install. I'll be showing you how to install this Power BI Desktop application next to this particular theoretical class. So what does the Power BI Desktop does? Using Power BI Desktops, we create and we publish the reports. Okay. So the dashboards that I was discussing, what is report, what is dashboard, we'll discuss. Okay. I'll tell you each and every single topic that we are discussing. Hold on. Then we also have an web-based application, which is Power BI service. And you know, what is the purpose of Power BI service? Power BI service is an SaaS platform, software as a service. Okay. So the purpose of Power BI service is it helps us to collaborate, share our work to our teammates. See, whatever the visualizations that I do using Power BI desktop will be in my system. Yes. So the entire work will be in my system only. But what if I want to share it? You cannot do it using Power BI desktop, guys. First of all, you have to publish your work to Power BI service, which is an web-based application of Power BI. Later on, you can share this work, your work, to your colleagues, to your teammates, to your team leads, managers, whomever it might be. You can share your work. Okay. Then we also have Power BI mobile. What do you mean by that? I mean to say Power BI is also available as a mobile application. Okay, so can everyone have access to this Power BI mobile application? No. Especially the CEOs, the managers. So I mean to say the people that we have in the top-notch positions. Okay, so only those people will have the access for Power BI mobile. Okay, they are the boss, right? So only those people will have the access for these Power BI mobile applications. We also have Power BI Premium. So this Power BI Premium is generally used in corporates. It's a premium application of Power BI, okay, which provides you an enhanced performance of the tool. So this premium product of Power BI will be observed in corporates. But for us, the first two are enough. Because in order to learn Power BI, desktop and service is enough. Because in rest of these products, you'll observe the same options. A small change is what you'll observe. And we also have Power BI embedded for integrating the APIs that you get. Okay. So in order to integrate the Power BI reports into these APIs, we also have Power BI embedded as one of the Power BI product, and we have Power BI report server. Okay, and it's an on-premises solution, guys, for hosting your work, whatever you do. It's like a cloud-based application of Power BI. Okay, so all these are different products of Power BI, and as part of these sessions, probably I'll be talking about the first three. I'll show you how Power BI mobile looks like. Okay. I'll probably talk about Power BI mobile, and it's not possible for us to go with the rest of the three because they are paid. Okay, even mobile is also paid, but I'll show you the UI and all. Okay, right. So I'll talk about Power BI desktop. I'll be using especially Power BI desktop for majority of the days, and I'll also uh, use Power BI service, how we have to share our work, how we have to collaborate our work to our team members. Okay, how the sharing and all should be done. I'll be explaining using Power BI service. Okay, right. Next to the ecosystem of Power BI, let me talk about the components. So this is one of the important slide because time again we'll be using these components. Okay, so if you ask me what I have to learn in Power BI, my answer is learn all these 6 components. If you learn all these 6 components, you can have at least a intermediate knowledge on Power BI. So these are the 6 important components of Power BI. What does each component does? Why should we learn each component? Let us understand, guys. I'll talk about one by one in the flow. The first one is Power Query Editor. First one is Power Query Editor. Why do we use Power Query Editor? Why should we learn Power Query Editor is for performing data transformations. So far we are discussing about transformations. Yes. So these transformations can be done using Power BI. I mean Power Query Editor. Okay, so whatever the transformations that we are going to do will be done only using Power Query Editor. Keep in mind. Then the second one, Power Pivot. What is the purpose of Power Pivot? Using Power Pivot, we can come up with data models. Nothing but data modeling can be done. Okay, we can establish the relationships between two tables or n number of tables. So that modeling can be done using Power Pivot. What about Power View, the third component of Power BI? Power View is one of the important component of Power BI which helps us to visualize the data. For data visualizations, we have to go with Power View component. The main reason behind Power BI is visualizations, right? So that is the reason Power View is one of the important component in Power BI. Then next to Power View, we have Power Map. What does Power Map does? Power Map is again a component of Power BI which helps us to visualize. Even using Power Map also, we are going to visualize geospatial data, guys. We are going to visualize geospatial data. What do you mean by geospatial data? Geospatial data is the data in which we'll have latitudes, longitudes, okay, the locations, countries. If you have such kind of data and if you are trying to visualize, you can go and use Power Map component. We go and use Power Map component. Okay, we'll understand. We have power maps, different map visuals which help us to visualize geospatial data. Then next to power map, we have Power BI Q&A. What do we have? Power BI Q&A. What does Power BI Q&A does? Power BI Q&A is an AI driven capability of Power BI. It is an AI driven capability of Power BI which help us to visualize the data even using Power BI Q&A also. I'm going to visualize data. But you know how? I'll be giving a prompt. How many of you use ChatGPT? Different LLMs? Google Gemini? GitHub Copilot? Right? So if you observe, among all these different LLMs, are we providing the prompt? Yes, we are giving the prompt. So when you are giving the prompt, are you also able to visualize your output? Yes. When you provide a prompt, you are going to get the output. So using Power BI Q&A, you will provide a prompt, but you will get visualization as output. You're going to get visualization as output, guys. You'll get a visualization. Is that possible? Yes, it is possible. I'll show you each and every component, how they are used. When we go to the hands-on part, you'll understand. And finally, Power BI service, which helps us for sharing or collaborating our work. Especially, Power BI service is used to build dashboards. What does that mean? That means we cannot build dashboards using Power BI desktop. Using Power BI service, only I can go with Power BI. I mean, dashboards can be created only with Power BI service. Right? So what is a report? What is a dashboard is still pending. We did not get a clear understanding about it, right? So let me go to the next slide. I hope all the 6 components are clear and the purpose of each and every component is also clear. Let me go to the next topic. It is building blocks of Power BI. What are the different building blocks that we have are visualizations, data sets, reports, dashboards, and tiles. So let us understand all these different terminologies one by one. So first of all, what do you understand by data set? What do you mean by a data set? Data set is nothing but, can I say it as a place where we have data or collection of data is nothing but data set. See, if we observe, I might have the data present at different sources. Yes, the data that I'm going to work on will be at different sources. So by connecting to different sources, I'll be collecting the data first and I'll prepare my own data. I'll prepare my data set. So this is nothing but data set. And this is the foundation for visualizations. Because without data, what I'm going to visualize? I hope you're getting the point. So first of all, we'll be having the data set. We'll be preparing the data set. Once after preparing the data set, we'll be generating the reports, the visualizations. Right. Next to data set, we have visualizations. What do you mean by visualizations, guys? What do you mean by visualizations? The word called visualizations. What exactly is visualization? Visualization is nothing but pictorial representation of data. See, if you observe here within the image, there are multiple visualizations. How did I get it? I have data and using this data, I'm able to visualize it. I'm going to represent in the form of some graph, some picture. It is called as visualization. It is called as visualization. Okay. So that is the meaning, exact meaning for visualizations. And only once after having these visualizations, you can get the insights. Because when you have the data in structured manner, okay, assume that you have the data in table format. That means rows and columns. When you have the data in table format, okay, can you draw the important insights? I'll give you a data which is of size 1 lakh records, okay, and probably 20 columns. 1 lakh records and 20 columns. And if I ask you to get the insights, will you be able to do it, guys? Impossible. Are we humans or machines? Right? So you cannot get the insights, the key insights cannot be grabbed using the data. When we have the data in this fashion, it is not possible. Then how can we grab the insights is when you have the visualizations. See, if I have the data in this fashion, when I represent my data in visualization, I can grab the insights. So insights can be grabbed. They can get the important insights when we represent the data in form of visualizations. Okay, so this is very important, guys. And the purpose of Power BI is, the main purpose is to visualize the data, right? Next to visualizations, let us understand what are reports. From starting, I am using the word called report, report, report. What is report? Report is nothing but a page. What is report? A report means a page. What is a page? I'll just give you an example. I hope majority of you have used Microsoft Excel. Yes. Within Microsoft Excel workbook, you also observe sheets, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, so on. In the same way, Power BI have pages, page 1, page 2, so on, page n. So each page is called a report. What can we have within a report? See, you'll observe the user interface like this. Okay. So each page is a report. Within each page, you can have visualizations. Visualization 1, visualization 2, visualization 3, visualization 4, visualization 5. Or probably this is single one. My bad. So how many visualizations I have? 4 visualizations. So that means I can have single visualization or multiple visualizations. So I define a report. A report is a page in which we can have single visualization or multiple visualization. And you know the benefit of reports? Within reports, the charts, the visualizations interact with each other. They interact with each other. Okay. So this is one of the important terminology, guys. When it comes to Power BI, what are reports? Reports are nothing but single page in which you can have a single visualization or multiple visualization. And across these reports, the charts or the visualizations, they interact with each other. I'll show you how they interact with each other. We'll understand. Right? Yes. Then the next definition that we are going to understand is dashboard. What does dashboard means? Dashboard is nothing but it is a single page storytelling point. Okay. So you'll observe the visualizations. What are these? All of them are visualizations only. So even dashboard also contains visualizations, multiple visualizations, but within a single page. When you want to represent the entire story in a single page, you can go and keep it in dashboard. Then what makes the difference between dashboard and report? In dashboard, the visualizations does not interact with each other. They not interact, guys. They not interact with each other. Whereas in reports, the charts, the visualizations, they interact with each other. So this is one of the important difference between reports and dashboards. And we cannot build dashboards using Power BI desktop. So whatever the application of Power BI that we are going to learn initially, using Power BI desktop, we cannot build dashboards. Then how can we build dashboards? Dashboards can be built using Power BI service. So at the end of this program, we'll be building some dashboards using Power BI service. Making sense? Right. And finally, one last definition that we have to understand is tile. What is a tile? We understood what is report, and we also understood what is dashboard. But what is tile? Tile is nothing but each and every visualization. Each and every visualization within a report or dashboard is called tile. I hope it is clear. See, you have to memorize these technical terminologies. That is for sure. Because when you are adding Power BI as one of the key skill, you have to memorize what is report, what is dashboard, what is tile. Okay. So tile is nothing but a visualization. Tile means a single visualization is called tile. But where exactly these tiles are called as? Within a report or dashboard. If you have the visualization, each and every single visualization is called tile. Simple. Right? So this is all about the theoretical part. We have successfully completed the basic understanding of Power BI. Right? We understood the theoretical concepts related to Power BI. Now let me talk about the installation. Because majority of my friends, they may not have Power BI installed. I have installed this. Power BI desktop I already installed. How you have to install Power BI desktop is, it is very simple. Installing Power BI desktop is very simple. So especially if you are using Windows operating systems, launch Microsoft Store. You see here, I already have it to my taskbar. If you don't have it in your taskbar, go and search for Microsoft Store and launch Microsoft Store. Okay, it's better if you do simultaneously, that is well appreciated. But anyhow, let me tell you how you have to install Power BI desktop. Once after launching Power BI Store, in the top center, you'll have a search box. Within the search box, just keep it as Power BI. Search for Power BI. So when you search for Power BI, you will find the first the first section itself is talking about Power BI desktop. Just click on it. When you click on it, yes, you'll find a button like get. So this is free of cost. You need not pay anything, not even a single rupee to be invested, not required. So you'll find the button as get. Once after you click on this get, the button gets turned as open. So I have already installed Power BI Desktop, right? So that is the reason I'm able to see it. I'm able to see it as open. Once after installing Power BI Desktop, just click on this open button, guys. When you click on the open button, Power BI Desktop gets launched. You're going to launch Power BI Desktop. So this is how the Power BI Desktop gets launched initially. I'll tell you each and every step. I'll be very slow initially because you have to get habituated for the tool, right? So focus accordingly. You have to do the hands-on. So I hope all of you have installed Power BI Desktop. So this is how the initial user interface be, and what you are supposed to do. You see on the top right corner sign in button, the sign in option. Don't complete the sign in till I tell you. Okay. Don't do any kind of sign in. I'll tell you when you have to do it. Okay. So what you have to do initially is, you see the blank report, an option called blank report. Just click on it. So it will launch you. It will just open a blank report. So this is how the Power BI looks like. The user interface of, Power BI. Let me talk about all these things. Yes, focus guys. Don't do any kind of other things. Just focus when I'm teaching for the first time. Right. So what is your comment with respect to the UI? Is it the same to other Microsoft products? You see different ribbons, different tabs, and within each and every tab you see some options. Yes. So even though if you open other Microsoft products, you'll observe the same different, sections. The same different tabs will be observed. Home tab, insert tab, modeling tab. Okay. So these are the different tabs that are available. Under each and every tab, you also see different ribbons. Under different ribbons, you will find different options. Fine. Then we have also discussed that Power BI Desktop contains pages. If we observe here, what is this? It's page 1, page 2, page 3, so on. So if you open an Excel workbook, you will find sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4, so on. Okay. In the same way, for Power BI Desktop, you'll observe it as pages. Each and every page is called as a report. Each and every page is called as report. Okay. So let me delete these pages which are not required. Yes. I have completed the deletion process as well. Done. So each and every page is called report, and you see the dotted lines. So that is called canvas. You can adjust guys. See on the top, sorry, in the bottom right hand side, you'll find the zoom in bar. Okay, where it helps us to zoom in and zoom out. So you can adjust accordingly. So let me zoom in a bit. This is good. Yep. So whatever the dotted lines that you observe here is called canvas. It is called as canvas. Fine. Then you see some options towards the left hand side, towards the left hand side, you observe some views. Yes. So Power BI contains especially three main views. Okay. And the rest of the views that you see observe are, they got added in the recent versions of Power BI. But anyways, let me talk about all these views and what is the purpose of each and every view. Okay. The first one is called report view. The first one is called report view. What is this report view means? Report view is the view in which you can visualize your reports. You can visualize your reports. Then coming to the next view, it is called as table view. What does table view mean? See, view means you can see the preview of your table, of your data in table view. Next to table view, you'll identify one more view. It is model view. What does model view means? Model view is nothing but, you see here, we have the relationships. Assume that these three are three different tables and we were able to relate table 1 with table 2, table 2 with table 3, table 3 with table 1. So that means we can have the relationships between the tables. Okay, so this is nothing but data model, which is nothing but power pivot. Using power pivot component, we can build these models where you can visualize these models in model view. And next to model view, you'll find DAX query view. You'll observe DAX query view in which you can keep your DAX formula. You can come up with some calculated measures, calculated columns. So what are these calculated measures, calculated columns? We'll understand. Okay. So the entire formula can be kept in this DAX view and you can execute the DAX formula. Right. So these are the important views that we have. So I'll repeat one more time. The first one is the report view. In report view only, we can go and visualize our reports. We can have a look on our reports. And next one is table view. In table view, we can see the preview of our data. Then next to the table view, we have model view. In model view, we can have the data models created. And next to data model view, we have, DAX query view. In DAX query view, we can actually run the DAX queries, the formulas. Now let me come to the right hand side. So if you observe towards our right hand side, again you will find some panes. Left hand side icons are called views and right hand side, you'll observe some panes. What are these panes? We have data pane, visualizations pane and filters pane. Let me talk about all these three panes. So when you want to understand the data that you are actually working on, or what are the different tables that you have imported to the Power BI. Okay, if you want all the information related to data, you'll have it under data pane. How can you have an access is, you see that arrow mark pointing towards left hand side? Yes. So when you click on it, it helps us to expand. It helps us to expand. And down to which you'll observe the different tables that got loaded. And if you see, there is a message. You haven't loaded any data yet. So I did not load any data. Right? Yes. What if I want to close it? You again click on the same two arrow marks pointing towards right hand side. This will help you to collapse that pin. Expand, collapse. Okay. Then the next pane that we have is visualizations. What is the purpose of the visualizations pane is, Under the visualizations pane, you will find all the different visualizations. You will find all the different visualizations. So when you take all these different visualizations, okay, so you can use any one of the visualization to visualize your data. And don't assume that we have only a few visualizations. Power BI offers around 200 to 300 different visualizations. And if you ask me, where are these 200 to 300? Probably here you are able to see only hardly 40 to 50 visualizations. Yes, right. So in order to go and access all the 200 to 300 visualizations, you click on these three dots. So you'll find an option called Get More Visuals. When you click on Get More Visuals, it will allow you to go through all the different visualizations. But what is the message that it has popped up? It is clearly telling us to complete the sign-in process. But don't do it, guys. I'll tell you when you have to do it. Okay. When I complete the sign-in, I'll talk about all the visualizations that Power BI offers. Okay. So in order to have under the visualizations pane, you'll find all the different visuals, all the different visualizations and their formatting options. Every visualization can be formatted. Okay. Each and every visualization can be formatted. So all these options you'll find under visualizations pane only. Then next to the visualizations pane, you'll find filters pane. What is the purpose of filters pane? To add filters. To add filters to your report, you can go and use filters pane. Even this can be done. Okay, so this is all about the panes and the views. Okay, I hope all of you have installed Power BI desktop because it does not take much time. Right, let me start the first topic. It is Power BI. After completing the installation of Power BI desktop, let me go with the first component. It is Power Query Editor. What it is? Power Query Editor. So what is the purpose of Power Query Editor? Power Query Editor helps us to perform the transformations. Whatever the transformations that we want to perform on the data can be done using Power Query Editor. Fine. So before launching Power Query Editor, you should have the data first. Yes, the data is mandatory because without data on which or on what you are trying to do the transformations. Right. So I'll go and I'll show you the data set first. I'll show you the data set first. If you observe, this is my data. Where is the data present? The data is present in an Excel workbook. The data is present in an Excel workbook. This is my data, guys. So I have the data related to a company. Okay, a company's data is what I have. And I want to perform some kind of operations. I mean the transformations on this data. Okay, I see there are some missing values. Okay, and I also need to do some kind of transformations. For that, I'll use this data set and I'll also use Power Query Editor to complete the transformations. So what is the process? First of all, after launching Power BI Desktop, the first and the foremost step is to get the data. What we have to do? We have to get the data. How to get the data into Power BI Desktop? Because there is no data. We did not load any data so far. How should I do it? Is under the Home tab, you'll find different ribbons. One of the ribbon is Data ribbon. Okay. So under the data ribbon, you have multiple options. Yes, I have multiple options. What is the first option? It is data, get data. And at arrow mark pointing downwards, if you click on it, it will display you all the different options, the different data sources that are available. Okay, assume if your data is not, the data source is not present in this list, click on more. When you click on more, you can't even imagine, guys. You can't even imagine that it is going to show you all the possible data sources. See, so where is your data lying in? Is it present in a file, database, or within Microsoft Fabric, or any Power Platform, Azure Cloud, online services, or other any sources? Okay, so in this way you can find your respective source, and all these sources are available in all the different data sources are available under the all section. So here, from here, you are supposed to select the data source. What you have to do? You have to select the data source. First of all, where is my data? My data is present in Excel workbook. The first option, yes. I am supposed to select Excel workbook. Once after clicking on Excel workbook, you go and click on connect. So this is one way of getting the data into Power BI desktop. What does it mean? Do we also have other ways? There are n number of ways. I'm telling you, no, for doing a specific task in Power BI, for each and every task, we have at least two different ways. At least we have two different ways for performing the same task. Okay. If you see, if you observe, next to get data option, we have Excel workbook. Yes. So that means if your data is present in Excel workbook, you need not go and select it from get data option. You can directly click on Excel workbook. See, when I'm just hovering my mouse onto the option, it is providing the information about that specific option. Okay, that is why I'm telling you, Power BI is very easy. If you understand each and every option available, it's very easy, guys. Right? So, what does it says here? Import data from an Excel workbook. So, can I click on it? Yes. When you click on this, it will directly navigate to your, file system. See, you are supposed to provide, you are supposed to navigate to the path, to the location. Where do you have that specific Excel workbook? Okay, this has to be done, right? Then, do we also have any other options? Yes, we also have other options. Let me show it to you. If you observe carefully, under the data pane, there is an option called get data. Under the data pane, we have an option called get data. Yes, even if you click on this get data option, it will redirect you to the same window that has opened earlier. See, when you tried importing the data using get data option, you got the same window? Yes. So the same window got opened when I have, clicked on get data option available in data pane. Yeah, you can do the same. Okay. Again, is there any other option? Yes, there is one more option. How to get the data from an Excel workbook? If you see within the canvas, that means within the report itself, you see options, get data from Excel, get data from SQL server, means database. Next to it, paste data into a blank table. That means you can create your own data. Okay, it helps us to create your own data. Table can be created. So what if my data is present in Excel workbook? I can click on the first option. Yes, I can click on the first option. Now, what am I supposed to do? I have to navigate to the specific location. I have to select the sheet. I have to select the workbook. Then I am supposed to click on open. See, I'm just telling you the different possible ways to load the data from Excel workbook to Power BI desktop. So at the end of the day, you have to select the Excel workbook followed by clicking on the open option. It will open you, it will come up with a pop-up window called navigator window. It is called navigator window. Fine. Under this navigator window, it will display you all the possible sheets. All the possible sheets will be displayed in the navigator window. Let me cross check. How many options do you see here? How many sheets? 3 and 3, 6. Let me go and check. 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. See, the last one is sales. Right. So let me go back. Yes. I see the same 6 sheets. Okay. So what exactly do you want? So the main purpose of the navigator window is you are supposed to select the sheet, on which sheet data you are going to work or which sheet data you want to load. In order to cross check or in order to have the data preview, you are supposed to select an item. See, no item selected for preview. That means when you select any one of these sheet, it starts providing you the preview of the data. See, department details, employees north, employees south, employees west. So when I'm selecting the respective sheet, what's happening? It is providing me, the preview of the data. So what is the sheet that I'm actually interested? It is main employees. So this is the data I want to load into Power BI desktop. So I confirm it. Once after making the confirmation, if you observe properly, in the navigator window itself, both load and transform data, options will be inactive. They will be disabled initially. Okay. So how to make them, how we are supposed to make them enabled is when you select any one of the sheet. See, I'm actually supposed to load main employees table. Okay. So when I select it, immediately you'll observe both the options. Becoming active. Okay. Once after you see them active, you have to either click on load or transform data. Let us discuss the difference between load and transform data. When you click on load button, what happens is the data that is part of main employees gets loaded to Power BI desktop and it resides under data pane. You'll find it under the data pane. Okay. What if I click on transform data option? When I click on transform data option, the data will be directly loaded to Power Query Editor. The data will be directly loaded to Power Query Editor for transformation. Okay, so let me tell you the both. I'll perform both the steps. You'll observe the differences, guys. See, I'm clicking on load initially. So when I click on load, what should happen? the data should load into the Power BI desktop and it should sit under the data pane. Let me check. So it initially takes time. Okay. For loading and all, it takes time. Yes. So it's loading. It's taking time, guys. Once after loading the data, you'll observe, the data under the data pane. Yep. Is that done? Is that done or not? You observe here. Yes, I see the data under the data pane. It got loaded. But I am supposed to do some kind of transformations. Because of that, I am not able to see the column names. Right? Fine. So this is when I clicked on the load option. What if I click on, let me delete it from the Power BI desktop. Okay. I'll do the same process. Yes, I'm going to do the same process. I'll be repeating it. Okay. I have selected the workbook. I'll click on open. Okay. Once after clicking on open, it opens me the navigator window. It opens me the navigator window. Yes. So once after the navigator window gets opened, I'm supposed to select the item, the sheet. So it is nothing but the main employees. Okay. So once after selecting the sheet, I'm supposed to click on transform data. If I click on load data, the data gets loaded into Power BI desktop and it sits under the data pane. Let us check what happens if I click on transform data. When I click on transform data, data will directly, loaded to Power Query Editor. Data directly loads into Power Query Editor, the first component. Out of the 6 components, the first component is Power Query Editor. Right? So you see here, I see Power Query Editor launched and I see the table, data is present in Power Query Editor. But let me open Power BI Desktop. Do you see the data in Power BI Desktop, guys? No. In Power BI Desktop, there is no data. So that makes the difference between load and transform data options. Okay. So when you click on transform data, it directly loads the data into Power Query Editor. This is one important point that you have to keep in mind. Okay. So I'll finally, talk about how should we launch Power Query Editor from Power BI Desktop. Okay. If that is the question, okay, I'll do it one more time by just closing Power Query Editor, and this time I'll be launching Power Query Editor from Power BI Desktop. Okay, so just focus. I'll perform the same process. Under the Home tab, I'll be selecting the Excel workbook. Okay, I'll navigate to the place where I have it. I'll click on Open. When I click on Open, it will launch as a navigator window. So in the navigator window, I'll go and select the required sheet. I'll go and select the required sheet. It is nothing but main employees. So once after selecting the main employees, if I click on load, I know that the data gets loaded into Power BI desktop. This is very clear for us, right? And we can also observe the data. We can also observe the data under the data pane. It is sitting under the data pane, right? Can we also have the preview of the data? Yes, we can also have the preview of the data. If you go to the table view, okay, if you select the table, you can go and have the preview of the table. See, this is how the data is. The preview of the data, we can have a look of the preview of the data in the table view or data view. This is called as table view or data view, guys. Right. Now, let us understand how to launch Power Query Editor from Power BI Desktop. Under the Home tab, in Queries section, you'll observe Transform Data option. You'll observe Transform Data option. When you click on this Transform Data option, you'll observe again multiple options under it. Just click on the first option, Transform Data. See, this will launch me Power Query Editor for preparing and transforming the data. So any of the way is fine. At the end of the day, for transformations, for preparing our data, we have to go with Power Query Editor. We have to go with Power Query Editor. Done? Yes. Okay. So this is all about the introduction part. I'll just remove it, which is not required. I'll talk about all the options, all the important options that are available as part of Power Query Editor in the coming two classes, because it hardly takes at least two classes for understanding all these, majority of the options we'll be understanding is by taking examples, we'll be understanding each and every option that is available as part of Power Query Editor. Okay, so first and the foremost thing that you have to do is install Power BI. Because once if you install Power BI, you can immediately start the hands-on. Okay, there is no use of just listening to the classes, pause the classes, or parallelly you should focus on the hands-on. Practice is must and should, because this is all about it's a hands-on tool, more of a hands-on tool and less of theory part. So I'll talk about what are the queries, what is query settings, each and every topic that I have here. I'll be talking about each and every option and the tab. Clear? Right. So any questions as part of today's session? If you have any questions, don't hesitate in asking your questions. Okay. And moreover, I hope the pace that we are maintaining is good enough. Right. Guys, my sincere request is do attend all these 10 sessions. Don't miss the flow so that for sure you're going to get good knowledge, as well as you're going to gain good skills with respect to Power BI. Right? So any questions with respect to the topics that we have covered so far? And moreover, if you find the session went well, do hit on the like button and also encourage us. Share across your connections, ask them to learn Power BI. Any questions? Thank you so much. So guys, if you are going to encourage in this way, we are going to come up with some amazing sessions in the future as well. Okay. So you can better encourage us by sharing these sessions among your connections, your friends, your relatives, whomever it might be. Okay. If they're actually interested in learning any BI tool, ask them to learn Power BI. Right. Across these 10 days, I'm going to cover the majority part of the Power BI, but it depends on your practice, my friend. Your hands on. Yeah, this is the first day. Do hit on the like button. Yep. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And moreover, at the end of the each and every day, we'll be sharing the feedback link. Okay. So as part of the feedback link, provide your valuable feedback. Genuine feedback is what we are expecting from you. So as we go on, you are supposed to practice. Okay. So it's like go for the open source data sets. Probably you can get these open source data sets in Kaggle. Okay, download them and utilize those data sets as part of your hands-on. That's it. Yes, encourage us guys by hitting on the like button. Thank you so much once again for making the session interactive.